Hey there, creatives. Welcome back to Creative Conversations with Gigi Mompiere. I'm your host, Georgina Mompiere, and today's guest is someone close to home, Charles Carter, a friend from my college days and the CEO of CEO Lifestyle. Charles launched his luxury streetwear brand in 2021, starting with dad hats and hoodies, and now offering both women's and men's collections. In this episode, we dive into what inspired him to create his clothing line, how he taps into his creative process, and how he manages to stay present while balancing a full-time career with running his own brand. Whether you're a budding designer, a creative visionary, or just someone curious about the grind behind the glam, this episode has something for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to Creative Conversations with Gigi Mompiere. This will be our second episode today, and today I'm excited to welcome someone who's not only a successful entrepreneur and CEO, but also a longtime friend of mine, Charles Carter. Charles is the founder and CEO of CEO Lifestyle, a luxury streetwear brand that he launched in 2021. A proud graduate of UTSA, Charles has always had a passion for fashion, and just in a few years, he's built a brand that blends style, creativity, and luxury in the streetwear space. I've had the privilege of knowing Charles since I was 18, and I've witnessed his incredible journey firsthand. I'm thrilled to dive into his creative process, his entrepreneurial path, and the vision behind CEO Lifestyle. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for, having me come in. It's a pleasure being here.
I'm happy to have you here as well. I was already telling Charles off camera that I was very nervous my first podcast.
That's hard.
I kept feeling like my eyes were darting towards the corner. I'm like, okay, I got to read this question. And then I got to read this question.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And let me get all crisscrossed. This time I was like, let me get cozy. I think I was all stiff because it's a school project.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I had to put it into the perspective of I'm the project.
There you go. You're starting off right overall.
So let's start off. I haven't graduated quite yet. It's been a good 7 years.
Yeah.
As that I've known Charles since I was 18 and I'm 25 now. I met him my freshman year going into UTSA. We met through Twitter?
Yeah, I think it was through Twitter, just building the hype around the whole school atmosphere in general. Just tried to create a fun space while we were working hard as far as just credentials, as far as, just being at school and always stressed and, I wanted to make it a fun space in general. So, by being mutual friends with others, we was able to come together and, just become family overall, like you said. So.
Yeah. Starting off, since you graduated from UTSA, what was your major? I don't remember what your major was.
So my major was public health. I originally had one for nursing, but I think as far as nursing school in general, they wanted you to have like a damn near a 3.0, 3.5 come sophomore year. And that was tough during that time. I think mainly because I was just trying to get the whole college experience in general. I was still on top of my studies and things of that sort, but they just wanted you to be way more academic, in which I could have did, in which I just chose the public health route, so it was public health and then just the entrepreneur on the side, and it all blended together overall. So.
Were you able to have the entrepreneurship like major or under? What is it?
As far as I know what you mean, like a minor.
Yeah, as a minor. There you go. The entrepreneurship minor.
I could have, but during that time, it wasn't something that I was thinking about during that time. It's kind of crazy because I did so much, business-oriented things throughout my whole 4 years that you would have thought I would have did. Had a minor in business or even a major in business, but it kind of came secondhand to me towards like my sophomore year. I was always an entrepreneur when it came to like things like even in high school. In high school, I sold candy and I was always the top winner for like the people who, how you have the little chocolates in the box and you got to sell them to your different family members and all that. Since I was in football and things of that sort, my mom was always supporting me in every way she could or whatever, which motivated me to become the person I am today. So I wish or I can still take, just business classes overall just to get a better headspace on how everything works out. But from what I've experienced personally through my own, life struggles and things of that sort, I was able to grasp a lot and just flourish from within that. So.
I love that. I find it so crazy that you majored in health, but now
Yes.
are you still pursuing a career with public health?
So right now I am. It's so whenever I got out of college, I went to the city of Houston. I started off with the city of Houston. I did public health within that. It was called the Area Agency on Aging, I believe. It basically helped older people get like provider services within the home. You know what I'm saying? I kind of looked up on that job because it was the actual job that was in my field. So once I got that, I was like, okay, I'm on top of my, top of the things I need to be doing. I actually went to college for this and I got a job for this. It was a good paying job. So I'm doing everything right overall. But as times came, it just came, I like routine to a certain extent. Like, just to go on to work every day, and which I still do that today, but just in a different field. It was kind of the same momentum every day, like wake up, get up, and just the same process or whatever. So now I work for a organ donation hospital, which is a very big step from the city of Houston Health Department when it comes to pay. We usually do like 12 hours, 12-hour days, whatever. So 4 days a week, 12-hour days, almost hitting like 100 hours every 2 weeks for the most part. And I'm still able to maintain the brand overall. And I've been doing my brand since 2020, 2021, or whatever. So I was able to balance and just gain that momentum I needed to be as successful as I am today. So,
what inspired you to start CEO Lifestyle?
What really inspired me, so back in 2020, I believe, so this was 3 years after I graduated, I had the real reason, in which it was never a fake reason, but this is a reason that I really don't tell a lot of people. Only the people that know me do know. I had went through some legal trouble back in 2020, which really inspired me to just motivate others to, stay on the right path. And then also that every obstacle that you face, you can always overcome in general. So my brand is CEO Lifestyle. The CEO stands for conquer every obstacle, because during that time, that's what I needed to do. I needed to push past the barriers that was set in front of me and just continue to press forward in general. So that's the main impact that I have on others. And that's the main impact that I want for my brand to stand for and the meaning behind it. So like I said before, CEO stands for conquer every obstacle. I've been doing it for about 4 years now, 4 to 5 years now. And I'm passionate about everything I do. So.
Yeah. How long have you been into fashion? Have you always thought that you would start a clothing brand? Like, why did you choose streetwear?
So really, what started me with fashion in general, it wasn't like one of those, I had this passion since I was a kid. You know how everybody have this desired passion, and then I was always just an entrepreneur in general. I've grown to love fashion now, but I would have never thought 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I would be doing a clothing brand, just doing clothing in general. I really got inspired by just because I needed another hustle when I moved to Houston in general. So before I was doing clothing brand stuff, I was selling plates. I did party promotion. I did, just hosting at different clubs, daiquiris. I was just finding any business opportunity that I can. And whenever I did move to Houston, I knew I needed another business. You know what I'm saying? All the clientele that I had in San Antonio, I needed that in Houston. Therefore, I wouldn't be on that routine route of always working. I could have additional income that I can invest into later on in general. So, yeah, that's been, the highlight of my life for these past 4 or 5 years. Never knew I would get into clothing in general, but as I've grown to, learn what I'm doing now, it's now become second nature in general. So,
I remember when you first dropped CEO, it was a shock. I didn't expect you to start a fashion brand either.
I didn't either, So.
I still got my CEO sweatsuit. I got the black and pink one.
Yeah, I remember making that for you. That was probably when I first started. This was probably like about 3 years ago. Because I know when I first started, I was, just doing everything by hand. I was going to some local vendors around Houston. I had ended up investing into a machine and was just doing all the hard labor as far as really, giving people those options if they want the certain color. And things of that sort. So I was really able to grasp that talent from that. I remember when I first started, it was another guy that had his clothing brand as well. And I really just asked him, hey, I said, I think I had to pay him like $100 during that time. And which wasn't,
You paid for the game, but hey.
Yeah, I had to pay for the game. That's what you got to do nowadays that I've noticed. Like every time you're on Instagram, you always see somebody, charging for this course. And, at first I didn't understand it, but as I'm growing now, I do understand it, because if you're not surrounded around the people who have done it or been through the mistake that you plan to make as you used to do it on your own, it's the better way to do it as far as just investing into yourself. And I'm pretty sure, most of everybody knows that by now. And, that's what I had to do. So I was able to get the knowledge from him. And then the next day or that next week, I was able to get my machines and start designing. And this is where I am today. So.
Your creations are really good quality too. You said it's been 3-4 years since we had those sweatsuits. My mom actually wore her blue one to France when we did the trip. She wears it almost every time she travels now, and it still looks amazing.
Yeah, I think it was you, your mom, I think your brothers even got one. So I appreciate y'all for y'all support always.
Absolutely, absolutely. As far as your creative process and when it came into putting the brand together, whenever you were designing those pieces, what did you draw your inspiration from?
Most of my inspiration came from just people around me in general. I kind of just look at what other people had and then combine my own ideas. And from that, I was able to come up with different concepts that was different but still meaningful. One of my main goals was to have a meaning behind my brand in general, and I wanted to stamp it on there so that whenever someone did wear it, they have some sense of achievement. You know what I'm saying? So that was the main reason for my brand, just to give it somebody the extra push, the extra motivation for if they was to go through certain things, they knew that they can come up off top if they was to stay focused. The whole conquer every obstacle aspect. So
I love it. I love it. So I know you said you were going through a hardship in that birthed CEO lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Within that moment that you were going through that and the mindfulness, like what did you do to really like tap into your creativity and really tap in, make these designs?
So I think the main thing that caused me to really just tap into everything is just due to I wanted to do something for myself that I knew would have meant something, positive later on in life. And in that moment, during that time, it was, very hard when it came to not knowing what the outcome was. So to keep my mind, motivated, keep my mind going, I was able to find something that, didn't cost too much to start up, and then that would still be impactful and, something that people can wear every day. And I can always change it how I want to, when I want to. So that was the reasons as to why I started, because I could also did plates. I could also brought daiquiris out here. But as far as Houston, it's so big. Everybody got so many things going, what I'm saying? I could have tapped into anything, but I chose the clothing brand route because, every day we always want to look good. We always want to wear something comfortable. And then we also, for the most part, want to wear something that's meaningful, so.
I love that. I can say your coping mechanism is a business.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like sometimes I get mad at myself because I can't turn my brain off from, being as creative. Like, I go to sleep, especially just due to me having a full-time business and a full-time job. That full-time job, we mandatory to work like overtime in general. So every, all of our hours, we have to get like 16 hours of overtime every 2 weeks or whatever. So it kind of, at first it was a bit of a struggle due to the fact that we all used to the whole 8 hours or whatever. So when it came to 12, I was kind of have to tap into that mindset. Okay, I was wondering damn, if my branding gonna slow down because of this, because I can't put as much time to it. And then I also had some positives due to the fact that I can invest everything that I made from working into the brand, just create a structure of, improvement in general. So I was able to do that. I know a lot of people really, they just jump off the porch and just do their business full time without having that back end money. But I was able to balance both and still, be positive and not as tired of things of that sort. So I was able to just find that balance. And go from there.
Okay. I love to see it. I love that you're able to tap in and really see it's kind of become like a passion project that's really taken off for you.
Yeah, it really has. Like I said, it's been 4 years now. And I don't even do it for, a lot of people do a lot of, business stuff just for the money, so it eventually comes down to that. But when it comes to the passion, I feel like if I have the passion for it, then there'll never be no stopping with it. It's been months towards the beginning in which I had months where I didn't receive no money, but I was still giving away shirts, trying to get the brand out, doing different projects just to get the community out in order to everybody being on one accord, working with all these different creatives, because I know that they have the same passion that I did when I started, what I'm saying, or they still working on it as I am as well. So just working with different like-minded people, I was able to tap into certain creatives who can help me and I can help them. I did a lot of different fashion shows, worked with a lot of different models who started off their modeling career, what I'm saying, because of me. And that's something impactful that I think, and, will go a long way. So
When you began CEO, you started with crew necks and sweatsuits. Now you have women's clothing, including bikinis and cargo shorts, cargo skirts. Is there like a specific piece that you found difficulty with, or a piece that you really was like, this is really going to do it?
I feel like what really topped it off with me, because it's crazy, because my first design that I ever made, I really didn't like it, but a lot of people did. So I had to, come to senses with the fact of it's not all about me and what I will wear. What I'm saying? It's what everybody, is what other people think of what I got. What I'm saying? So with that being said, I followed the wave in which what people wanted during that time. But I feel like the most influential piece throughout everything is when I think it was about 2 years ago when I came out with my varsity jackets. I feel like there's just the design on those and the quality it was my big jump into just rebranding overall. So whenever I did that, I put down working on the machine every night. What I'm saying? I was on the machine doing hoodies and joggers and things of that sort for 4 to 5 hours after work. I'm getting off at 6 o'clock and having to stay up till 2 a.m. right after work and do those joggers. And, just because of the materials that I have. But now since I went the overseas route, everything has been way more easier. The materials have been better. I'm able to ship out packages on time and things of that sort. So, but I feel like those varsity jackets that I did start 2 years ago is really what boosted my brand in order to get it to where it is today. So
that varsity jacket, I've seen the photographies, I've seen the photos. I've also seen that you've done some fashion shows incorporating that varsity jacket. Can you take us behind the scenes route of, casting? What's your vision whenever you have those fashion shows?
Yeah, when it comes to the fashion shows, there are a lot of fun. I'm able to, like I said earlier, I'm able to work with these different models who's just starting off, or people who are experienced in general. So it is a lot of work in preparation, because you just don't want to put anything out there with all these eyes looking at you. So I was able to, when it comes to castings, I usually start about 2 months in advance, or the producer started off about 2 months in advance. I was able to pick my models, and then from picking those models, I was able to work with those models for other production that I needed for my brand. So I believe my first fashion show was about 3 years ago. It was a huge event. I was actually nervous during the time. So this is the time where I was making everything by hand. So imagine, I think I had like 12 models. So imagine doing, top and bottom for 12 people. That's like 24 pieces that you got to do by hand and have it by a certain time. But that's when I really locked in with everything, because I knew what was going to come from being a part of this fashion show. I actually had fun. After the fashion show, I gained a lot of different connections. I was introduced to other fashion shows from that, other models that I can work with as far as like different campaigns from that event. And some of those models that I've worked with, I'm still working with them to this day. So during that time, I had my whole college family behind me. I had new people who was trying to do the same thing I was. So, they was helping me, I was helping them. And to this day, I'm, more than thankful for just starting in general, because a lot of people are scared to start and they lose, just inches of whatever idea they had during that time. But I was able to grasp that inches that I had during that peak time and just come off up top from there. So
it's always great to see the finished products and the successes of the fruits of our labor. But throughout the process in the past couple of years, what are some challenges that you faced as being a business owner as well as a creator?
Um, so I've had just dull moments when it comes to just, like you said, creator's block, and not being able to just, whatever. I always second guess myself in the beginning, like, okay, I'll design this, but would people like it? And should I do it on this day? Because at the end of the day, just marketing in this type of business it's pretty difficult if you don't know what you're doing. So during those hardship times, I was able to, you know, take some time, really put my business, saying, well, not my business, just work to the side, focus on my business, is really get into a headspace in which I can actually grasp different ideas and actually produce. Um, I learned that instead of always second guessing myself, just throw it out there and then just learn from your mistakes from there. Okay, I throw it out. If people not, excited for it, or people not just really buying with my product, then I'll just switch something on it. Then maybe the next time, or if that don't work, maybe the next time. So just really keeping that momentum and not giving up, regardless of what's going on around you. Because at the end of the day, you know, outside people going to support you more than your friends are or your family is, and that's what really kept me going. I also used to watch a lot of YouTube videos in which I feel like nowadays you need to. That's the only ways of research if you're not getting from somebody who actually did it. So I used to watch a lot of different YouTube videos on different clothing brand owners and what they went through, and the different aspects of like the whole fashion from their eyes. And I was able to grasp that, study it, and to start producing and move on. So.
How did you get into that headspace whenever you would have those blocks? Was there a way that you would either pray? Would you just meditate? What ways did you really get yourself out of those funks?
I would say I used to always, and which I still do, I'll go to the coffee shop, just somewhere quiet, somewhere I can really focus, where it's not a lot of people, and just tap into, just my own headspace in general, just getting those different ideas. Like if I'm at work, I'll go through Instagram, look at different ideas, and then I'll like kind of just save it, put it to the side. And then whenever I get into that creative headspace by going to somewhere quiet, I think, we're in Houston right now, so I always go to, I don't know if you heard of it, it's called Too Sweet. It's kind of like downtown area, but it's a nice area in which you can just really tap into your thoughts in general. So I'll go there probably like once a week or 2 times a week, create me a to-do list, and just sketch out some different ideas that I feel like will be good for the people and my overall brain in general. At first it was hard because like I said earlier, I was always second guessing myself, but I had noticed that at the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of people have this feeling, what I'm saying? It's not just me, what I'm saying? So just going through those trials and tribulations and errors and still picking yourself back up to produce more, I feel like you'll never lose. So.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone that's looking to break into the clothing industry, fashion industry, particularly the streetwear industry?
I would say the biggest thing that I've learned throughout my 3 to 4 years is just really networking, like being around people who's doing the same thing you're doing, or people who's in the same industry that you're doing. Just going to those networking, I think my first networking event, I was able to, it was so many different people, and I was just nervous because it was just people that I don't know. It wasn't like I had a friend or a family member who's in the same industry as me tagging along. So I was able to just get to know people in it. And after I went, it was like everybody else was doing the same thing. So it wasn't like a big hierarchy, and I was having to really be on some, interview type of time, whatever, when it comes to just learning my passion. But, I was able to just go to those different creative events, network, and just do all the research that you can do. I think I started off, as far as money wise, I think I started off for like $300. You know what I'm saying? I was able to really put money to the side during those times in which I wanted to start, and it still come up on top.
What's next for CEO Lifestyle? The fall season's coming up. It's getting colder.
Mm-hmm.
Are we bringing out different colorways with the varsity jackets? We're bringing out more varsity jackets. Is there something else coming in the horizon? What's next?
Mm-hmm. So I really want to tap into, so the next thing that I do have from this day in October, I think it's October 20th, I'm going to a fashion show. It's called Ghostly Gala. Tickets are on sale right now. The link is in my bio. Instagram is ceolifestyle.us. But that'll be my next fashion show. I did about 6 to 10 already. So I'm really excited for that because at the end of the day, when it comes to, I feel like I produce more in the spring, fall times. I'm really trying to get into summer, but I really don't like it as much, whatever. So now that fall is coming up, I released some like some track pants, cargo track pants with the reflective on the side. I got some different colorways for that. I'm producing some hoodies at this moment. And like you said earlier, just different colorways of just varsity jackets. And it's crazy because I'm really trying to I had caught myself tapping into more like women things. So now I got like a lot of crop hoodies and crop varsity jackets, and which I feel like is the wave now. Because a lot of people, whenever you see their brand, it's kind of like mostly like unisex or it's like all me and whatever. So I really want to tap into both sides. And then if I really, and then also just even like kid stuff, you know what I'm saying? I kind of just wanted it to be an overall fashion company rather than just streetwear overall in general. So it's a lot of things that I am tapping to. Stay tuned, in January. I got some big things coming up. So yeah.
I'm happy to be back in the city to witness the greatness firsthand.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. It's been great catching up with you. Tell the people your handles one more time. Reiterate it, CEO Carter.
Most definitely. So you can follow me on Facebook at CEO Lifestyle. I'm on Instagram at ceolifestyle.us. The same with Twitter. Everything is CEO Lifestyle. So make sure you guys tap in, follow me, stay tuned for what I have to release. Fashion show coming up October 20th. Make sure you be there. And I appreciate you again, Gina, for having me on your show.
Absolutely. This has been great. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Creative Conversations with Gigi Mompiere. A huge thank you to Charles Carter for joining us today and sharing his journey, his insights, and his creative process. It's always inspiring to see people turn their visions into reality, especially within the spaces of fashion and entrepreneurship. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please make sure to follow Charles and as well as CEO Lifestyle. I promise you won't want to miss what he has in tune. As always, if you liked the episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with anyone who might need a little creative inspiration. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep creating, stay mindful, and never forget to tap into your own unique identity. Bye.